Welcome back to Lost in the Archive. Today, we are not opening a file about a shipwreck or a missing person. We are opening a file about an idea that was sunk, a technology that was erased, a man who looked into the heart of disease and saw a way to stop it, only to be silenced by the very institutions sworn to protect public health. Imagine a world where cancer is not treated with poison or radiation, but with sound, with light, with frequency. This is not science fiction. This is the story of the 1930s. This is the story of Royal Raymond Rife. The year is 1930. The Great Depression is choking the life out of America. Bread lines stretch around blocks in New York and Chicago. People are dying from diseases we now consider minor infections. But in a quiet laboratory in San Diego, California, a man named Royal Rife is working on something that defies the logic of his time. Royal was not a medical doctor. He was an optician, a genius of lenses. He believed that to cure a disease, you first had to see it, not a stained, dead specimen under a standard microscope, but the living virus itself, moving, breathing, existing in real time. For years, Royal worked in isolation. He ground his own lenses. He built his own prisms. He created a lighting system that used pure monochromatic light. The result was the Universal Microscope. It was a marvel of engineering, with magnification powers that would not be matched for decades. Royal claimed he could see viruses, but he saw something else too. He saw that every virus, every bacteria, every cell emitted a specific frequency, a signature, like a radio station broadcasting on a unique channel. He called it the mortal oscillatory rate, the MOR. Here is where the story turns from science into something revolutionary. Royal theorized that if you could find the exact frequency of a pathogen, you could destroy it without harming the surrounding tissue. Think of an opera singer shattering a wine glass with their voice. The glass vibrates until it breaks. Royal believed he could do the same to a virus. He built a second machine, the beam ray. It emitted radio frequencies tuned to the specific MOR of the disease. In his clinic, patients with terminal cancer, tuberculosis, and other incurable conditions were treated. They sat in chairs, they connected to the machine, and, according to the records that still exist, they got better. In 1934, a clinical trial was conducted. 11 patients with terminal cancer were selected. They were given up for dead by conventional medicine. Royal treated them with his frequency generator. The result was staggering. All 11 were declared cured within months. The news spread like wildfire. People flooded his clinic. Hope, a rare commodity in the Depression era, was being sold not in a bottle, but in a frequency. Royal became a celebrity. Newspapers hailed him as a miracle worker. But in the shadows, powerful forces were watching. The medical establishment of the 1930s was changing. The Flexner Report had recently standardized medical education, pushing out alternative treatments and consolidating power within the American Medical Association. Pharmaceutical companies were rising, built on the model of selling chemicals to manage symptoms, not necessarily to cure the root cause. A cure that required no drugs was a threat. It was an economic earthquake. If Royal's machine worked, the industry of sickness would collapse. Patents for drugs would become worthless. Hospitals filled with chronic patients would empty. All this new sucked the oxygen from any oxidation therapy. The pressure began subtly at first. Letters were sent to journals asking them not to publish Royal's findings. Colleagues who supported him found their funding cut.
Then, the attacks became personal. The American Medical Association launched a special committee to investigate the Rife device. They did not test the machines themselves. They did not visit the clinic. Instead, they relied on hearsay and conflicting reports. They claimed the results were fabricated. They claimed the patients never existed. But the patients were real. They were walking, talking proof of a technology that worked. In 1939, the situation escalated. A key associate of Rife suddenly changed his story. Under pressure, he claimed the cures were fake. This was the turning point. The media turned on Rife. The headlines shifted from miracle to fraud. The state of California revoked his license to operate the clinic. But they wanted more than just shutting him down. They wanted to erase him. Agents raided his laboratory. Equipment was seized. Notes, diagrams, and years of research were confiscated. Some say they were destroyed. Some say they were locked away in a vault. Rife fought back. He tried to publish his book, The Cancer Virus. He tried to demonstrate the microscope to independent scientists. But the doors were closed. The scientific community had been bought off, or threatened, or simply chose to look the other way. Rife found himself isolated. The man who had offered hope was now treated like a criminal. His laboratory was dismantled. His life's work was scattered. He moved to a small apartment. The genius who could see the invisible enemy was now invisible himself. The tragedy deepened in the following decades. Rife spent his remaining years trying to rebuild his notes from memory. He lived in fear that someone would steal the little he had left. He died in 1971, alone and in obscurity. His name was scrubbed from medical textbooks. The Universal Microscope vanished. The beam ray machines were smashed. Why such a brutal suppression? The answer lies in the economics of health. In the 1930s, the pharmaceutical industry was solidifying its grip on healthcare. You cannot own a frequency. You cannot sell a treatment that you use once and are done. The business model of modern medicine relies on chronic management, not instant cures. Rife threatened the bottom line of the most powerful industry in the world. There are rumors that some of Rife's technology survived, hidden in private collections, replicated by underground engineers. People claim to have seen versions of the beam ray working in secret clinics. But without the original records, it remains in the shadows. The Universal Microscope was replaced by electron microscopes that kill the specimen to view it. We went backward. We accepted blindness as progress. Today, as we sit in the archives, we look at the photographs of Rife. He looks tired. His eyes hold a secret. He knew what he had seen. The story of Rife is not just about a machine. It is about the cost of truth. It is about the price of challenging the status quo. It is a warning. What happened to the seized records? Some say they are in the vaults of the American Medical Association. Others say they were burned. Maybe one day the full truth will be known. Maybe the technology will be rediscovered. Or maybe it is gone forever. A victim of greed disguised as science. This is the mystery we preserve here, at Lost in the Archive. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is see the truth.